That's our 110 volt panel with our 12 volts fuse panel also. Everyone's labeled. The first one is our main. If we turn off the main, we turn off the power to all the lake circuits. They're just labeled clearly here, AC outlets, I can't read without my glasses, microwave, and then that's it. And so those have to be all in the on position to get power to transfer from the cord into the vehicle. Also with the inverter, also has to.
And that's that yellow thing's the on-off.
Yep, the on-off. We just I don't want to do it with this running, but we just flick it right there. Yep.
Oh, that's to take the.
Yep, that's to take the sofa completely out. And there's one more down here.
Okay.
Studded into the floor, and
yeah.
then those 3 wing nuts, and you can take this whole sofa right out.
Okay, you're on camera.
I'm on camera. Okay, we have our temperature scroll here, so we can scroll up, and for our temperature. You're in a metal box. Keep that in mind. So we probably want to start out as low as it is, work it up if we get cold, rather than work it down if we get hot. The reason I didn't go all the way up and turn off the AC, there's a 10-minute delay on the AC, just like your house. So if we turn it off, the fan will blow, but the AC is not going to come on for 10 minutes.
Wow.
And so
the AC won't come on for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
High, low. If we scan up above you, we can dump all the air out straight down, or if we close it, we get them out of the vents. The vents will rotate.
Okay.
So we can kind of get that most likely pointed more towards the front, and then maybe just crack this. And then it's more likely to get air everywhere. The only time, this is our voltage here, it's showing a float charge right now, but if we're on invert, we're still going to get the same information. And think of it as we have a 12 volt battery system, so 12.5 is a fully charged battery at rest. Anything over 12.5 is now putting into the batteries, anything below that is taking out of the batteries. So if we see that number that's up nice and high, above 12.5, we're in good shape, that AC is going to keep running. If we start to decline, and we scan back here, and while we're doing our inverting and running, and we're getting to the 12, flickering back to 11.9, all that, it's overtaking itself. And that's the breaking point of when it's going to turn off on you. Now, nothing will break, it just turns off.
The compressor shuts off?
Yeah.
And the fan's still blowing, so you don't know it until it gets hot. Okay.
And so we want to just be a little careful of that. Up here, I'm going to turn this off now just for a second, so we can talk about this.
So that 13.2 is good, and if it gets below 12, you got a problem with the compressor shutting down.
Yep. And so what we have right now is we're plugged in, and the lights go off so they don't bother you at night. But what we're actually doing is charge indicates that we push the charge button. We have power, 110 power. This is all 110 right now. All 110 power going in. Meaning float charge, we have bulk charge and float charge. Bulk charge is the higher rate, float charge is the lower rate. So right now we've had the van plugged in working on it for days, so it's completely topped off, and we're just putting, the charger has taken itself to the lower level. Just because we're charged up, it doesn't want to overcharge the batteries. If we've done this inverting and we've depleted our batteries, so to speak, when we go to plug in, it's going to higher rate, more like 14 instead of 13 coming back.
Okay.
And it's real simple. All these are buttons that we've already preset for you, that I'll let you look in the manual if you want to reset them. But it's battery size, search wattage, things like that. The 2 buttons that we're concerned with to make it operate for today and for the near future is just charge or invert. So if we're plugged in, we want to have the charge button on. Now, the other thing is it automatically comes on whenever you plug in. But I just turn it on so I can see. Now, if I go unplug, we're going to see the power go off, and then we can try the inverter, and I'll show you how that all. We're going to have a voltage reading, which should say off.
Yeah, it says off DC.
Mm-hmm. So if we now turn on the inverter, now we're inverting, what we heard was the microwave clock come on. And so now we can actually, push popcorn, start, and we're running off the batteries rather than the shore power, but we're converting it to 110 power.
Okay.
Okay, same with the AC.
How long will the AC run off of a battery without creating problems?
Without creating problems, if you have the engine running and you're at 1500 RPMs, you should get a day out of it. You should get 6 to 8 hours.
Okay.
If you're not running the car, it could be as little as a half an hour. Now
Gotcha.
that's with a fully charged battery. That's by, you know, charging for 24 hours, unplugging and starting. Now now the other thing would be a good idea is if you do that, you know, plug it into your convenience, but you're not leaving until Friday, but you can only plug it in on Wednesday, then we want to hit that battery disconnect after it's been plugged in all that time, so there's nothing drawing off the battery, and then we turn it back on, and then we're ready for that kind of trip.
Gotcha.
It would be more suited for that kind of trip, let's say. This is a CO detector, so it's just carbon monoxide in case you were running the engine and sleeping at the same time.
Good idea.
It's also a low battery indicator. So just like this smoke detector, if the battery starts to go dead, it starts to beep and warn you that it no longer can protect you. Well, this does the same thing, but it's hooked up to our battery. So when we get to the threshold of 10.7, that will start to alarm to say that we no longer can run anything. At that 10.7, the refrigerator's not going to stay cool, the lights will be dim, and you'll be essentially out of battery. And so, we look here and see that it says 10.7. We know that it's just a low battery. At that point, we come down here and pull the top fuse, which they never stuck in, because I don't have them stick it in while they're working. But this top slot will have a 3-amp fuse, and it's labeled right here, CO detector. We could just pull that fuse out, sleep the rest of the night, and then in the morning when we start our car, we put the fuse back in. It's going to show voltage, stops beeping, everything's fine. It's just that I've had a lot of those phone calls in the, you know, the next morning saying, that thing beeped off.